culture, legacy, freedom colonies, our ancestors, and I'm just glad that you're all here today. First, I want to, and again, my name is Nicole Zeal, and I'm one of the board members here. If I could get any board members that are present to stand and state your name.
Joanne Wolf. I've probably seen you before. I've been on the board for a long time. And a person over there.
Natira Austin.
And thank you also to our volunteers. I also want to mention or thank you to Sierra Harris, our deputy for the museum. And I also would like to thank Dr. Tina Henderson for her contributions to the museum. And thank you also for giving that wonderful tour to the group this morning. But welcome everyone. So I want to introduce you and let you know a little bit more about why we're here today. So Nia's Daughters Movement Collective, founded by Stacey Allen, is a professional dance company committed to creating and supporting art and wellness initiatives through the lens of Black women and girls. Emerging from non-traditional theater spaces, Nia's Daughters has grown into multidisciplinary force, blending performance, education, advocacy, and cultural preservation. There we go. These lights are getting old, y'all. All right, and so for today, the FairyTale Project explores the love story of Jim and Winnie Shankle, founders of the Shankleville Freedom Colony. Shameless plug, if you haven't had time to visit or look at the new recently installed panels in Camptown Freedom Colony and also Bell's Alley, which mentions all of the Washington County Freedom Colonies. Please take time and check it out. You'll learn a lot about Washington County. So FairyTale Project premiered at Discovery Green in 2022. This historical narrative has toured Texas, captivating audiences in rural and urban areas with themes of love, resilience, and cultural preservation. The production has expanded their reach to campuses, prestigious stages, including South by Southwest education. Through their innovative programming and performances, Nia's Daughters Movement Collective received a congressional recognition and will continue to inspire and educate, fostering a deeper understanding of history and culture while empowering communities across Texas and beyond. Okay, let me introduce to you Stacey Allen.
Good morning, everyone. We are so thrilled to be here with you all. And yes, we are here to bring you the FairyTale Project, which centers the love story of Jim and Winnie Shankle. But before we go into our feature presentation, I wanted to take this opportunity, because we're not in Brenham often, to present another piece called Angelitos Negros. This piece was originally choreographed in the early 2000s, around 2004, 2005, and it was choreographed by another Black woman choreographer, Lori Boujon, who was the founder and artistic director of Second Generation Dance Company in Houston. And so this piece chronicles the journey of enslaved people who migrated to Mexico, the Underground Railroad south, to Mexico for freedom. And so you're going to see this piece. We are thrilled that we were able to restage this piece last year, and it now is in the Black Houston's archive at the Gregory School in Houston, Texas, as well as Rice University. So we are very proud to be able to present this piece. We like to do these two pieces together because it really just encapsulates the power of storytelling and the importance of African American contributions to Texas history. So we're going to begin with a piece called Angelitos Negros. Thank you all so much for being here with us. We appreciate you all.
Sometimes
again, that was choreographed by Lori Boujon, who was the founder and artistic director of Second Generation Dance Company, which was a black woman-led dance company that operated in Houston from the 90s to the early 2000s. So we are honored and thrilled to be able to restage her work and have it in our repertoire. So again, my name is Stacey Allen. I am the founder and artistic director of the Nia's Daughters Movement Collective, and we are a professional dance company. We are based in Houston, and our mission is to create and support art and wellness initiatives through the lens of black women and girls. And so we are thrilled to be able to now present to you the FairyTale project. But before we go into the FairyTale project, I want to say a few things. So, one, make sure you follow us on social media. We're on Instagram at, like y'all can take out your phones right now. Follow us on social media at Nia's Daughters, Nias. So Nia is Kiswahili for purpose. So at Nia's Daughters on Instagram and on Facebook as well, Nia's Daughters. And then I also want to ask you to go on our website, www.niasdaughters.com. When you scroll all the way down, there's an option to sign up for our newsletter. That is the best way to stay in contact with us and to know what events we have coming up. Okay? I'm going to give y'all a second to do that. I should be able to look at my phone and see some new follows. Let me see. So yeah, if you have an Instagram, make sure you follow us there. Okay, I saw a few. All right. Okay, thank y'all. So for the website, it's www.niasdaughters, Nias, daughters, like Brenham.com. And then at the bottom is an opportunity for you to do I think a performance review, and that's how you can sign up for the newsletter. So I learned about the FairyTale project because I was at a family function with my husband, and my father-in-law began to tell my oldest son about Jim and Winnie Shankle and how they started a town and how they're descendants, and I was just captivated by the story, and I just knew immediately that we had to create something about this. And so it has been our pleasure to perform and tour this piece, the FairyTale project, and we really just pulled the name from the concept that we need to see more fairy tales with our stories, right? Because what Jim did to reunite with Winnie is beyond just being in love. He was committed to reuniting with his wife. And what I have learned with working with the Texas Freedom Colonies Project and with the Outsider Preservation Initiative, that these stories are all throughout the state of Texas. I know that you guys in Washington County, I learned this morning with Ms. Henderson, you guys have so much rich history here, and you have a slew of freedom colonies here, but just in Texas alone, there are over 500, and I'm just so proud and so honored to be able to bring this story to life. So, before we get into the next piece, I want to say a few things. One, make sure you silence your phones. Everybody just told y'all to get them out so y'all can follow us. Make sure you silence your phones. And then also, y'all can give some energy. No, they was dancing, wasn't they? Yeah. And y'all was super quiet, yeah? Right? It's okay to make some sounds. You can clap, you can praise, you can, if you see something you like, give them some energy, all right? Okay. So let's bring the energy up now before they enter the stage. Let's bring it up. That's the theater etiquette, but we want to be able to feel your energy. We want to know that you're with us, that the story is making sense for you guys, okay? So, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go check on them in the back, but we're going to start off with the film. Everybody good? Y'all ready? Okay, cool. So now presenting the FairyTale project.
That's the magnetic force and our influence region. Mother Africa extends beyond the shores of the continent. She can be found in the South, because in the South, our ancestors' souls still linger and watch over us. You can see her in the faces of the babies as they nurture their mother's breast. She's in the art, the quilt, the laughter, the wind, the soil. The red clay of Mississippi as a deposit. The swamps of Creole Louisiana. The Gullah-Geechee people kept her close and dear. She also lives in Texas, East Texas. We conjure her when we delicately place dishes on the graves of those who transition. When we methodically place bottles on the tree, we invite her back to us. Some of us may think that we have grown distant from her. We may think that we are too sophisticated or too modern to hear her speak to us. But if you ever sat on a grandmama's porch and shoved peas, purple moon peas, then you met her. Our winters were spent planting, and our summers were spent harvesting. And every time I felt the soil, I felt the soul.
libation. Today, we honor our ancestors and sisters, forefathers and foremothers who have come before us. You see, we must always call their name because the African proverb says, when the last person who knows your name, when the last person who knows anything about you, and if your name has not been passed on or written down, when they transition, you will no longer exist. That's why we honor our forefathers and forefathers, all of those who came before us. I start by honoring my grandparents, Gladys, no, excuse me, that's my mom. I start by honoring my grandparents, Buster and Fannie Mae Lucas from Marlin, Texas. Then I honor my other grandparents, Carrie Smith and Will Smith from Houston, Texas. I honor my mother and father, Lorenzo Lucas Jr. and Gladys Marie Lucas, and my baby sister, who is now my aunt. In libation, we pour a little water out. We're just feeding the soil. We're making sure that the soil is always strong. Making sure that the soil will always be there. Now I'm going to ask you to join me. I'm going to ask you to join me. I want you to call out the names of your ancestors and ancestors, those who have gone before you, and honor them right now. Call them out. Keep calling. Keep calling. Keep calling. Keep calling. I know you know many of people who have gone before you. And you see, remember, thank you. And remember, we have to always keep them in our memory. Because now, it seems like people want to erase our memory. But no one can erase your memory if you don't stop talking. So talk. And you know what? Tell your grandchildren. Tell your great nieces, your children. And they say, oh, they don't want to hear that stuff. You'd be surprised. When you sit down and start telling them about the good old days, before cell phones, and when you just talk to them, they want to learn, they want to know. And what I find is gives me more pleasure is when I go to the elders. Well, I'm an elder now, I'm 80. But when I go to the elders before me, and when I start talking to them, they are so excited to share their stories. I visited a funeral today for one of the young ladies. She was 99 years old. And she had breast cancer. She was like a 30-year survivor. And I belong to the group that does talk about breast cancer. And sometimes I would just sit by her in the meetings, and she would just talk and talk. She says, nobody wants to hear me. Yes, we do. So I'm going to give you a charge as we watch Mama watch her dance. I'm going to give you a charge. When you go home, find a young person and talk to them about what you went through. Who was your first grade teacher? What did you like to play with when you were little? Oh, what movies did you watch? Go back. What toys did you play with? That's important. Tell the story. You've got a story. You've got a song. And you 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 and you, you must continue to tell your story all the day long. You see, we always listen. Notice when it was quiet, but if you were really listening, you could have heard your ancestors and ancestors talking to you. When we took the tour this morning, we didn't see the people who were behind us, before us, but I promise you, I felt their spirit. We must always pay homage to our spirit. transported back in time. They will meet up with their great-great-great-great-grandfather, Jim Shankle, who is going to cross the mighty Mississippi River to come to Texas to find his beloved Winnie, who was sold from a plantation in Mississippi. We're going to ask the young people, come and do the river. Come do the river. Go to the other side and do the river. And you get in the middle. And let's flow the river. Let the river flow. There you go. Stand up. Come on this side. As they cross the mighty, mighty, magic Mississippi. Jim Shangle courageously faced his fears to go and find his beloved wife, Brenham. He joined the ranks of the courageous black people who fought for what they want and who resisted freedom for our people. The anchor was Kuji Chagalia, although Nimi Kwan, the captain. We've known rivers. We've known rivers ancient to the world and older than the flow of blood in our bodies. Like St. Jude says, I speak to the river, and the rivers speak to me. They carry the voices. They carry the messages. They tell me to wade the water. Our ancestors waded the water. They waded the water to freedom, and they parted the Red Sea, awaiting the birthright of the nation. Now, like my people down south say, oh, let the Lord use you. Yes, Lord. Only thing stronger than water is the power of love. And y'all know God is love. God troubled over the water. He made some good trouble. He had them and took them safely to the now valley of the Mississippi. We think the names of our ancestors and ancestors, our freedom fighters. Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Denmark, BC, Toussaint Louverture, Queen Nanny of the Maroons, Malcolm X, and Betty Shabazz, Martin Luther King, and his wife, Coretta Scott King, Huey B. Newton, Assata Shakur, John Lewis, Nelson and Winnie Mandela, Angela Davis, Muhammad Ali, Babe Rustin, and the many, many, many more who sought love instead of their own comfort. Now, it's by no means easy when love covers a multitude. Let love be. They go through the forest looking for winning in Texas.
So strong, oh, get out. Listen to the pain, listen like the days. If you shiver up the love, no judge can sing. Sometimes I don't know what to do, but I'll do it, baby. Dancing around in the hand, it's a bit. Cause if we go down and we ain't gonna be down with it.
Could you guys take a moment, get some water in, grab a change? 'Cause we do have another show later on this evening at College Station. So they're gonna and we're gonna have an artist talk. Thank you all so much. Round of applause for them.
Prepare for the artist talk. We encourage you all to stay right where you are. While we're doing that and kind of preparing, I do want to speak to you a little bit about the museum and some exciting things that we have going on. So, as many of you have known, for the last 8 years or so, this museum has gone the extra mile to ensure that we have programming that reflects African American history, that allows us to celebrate our ancestors, that allows us to shine a spotlight on local history here in Washington County. So it is time now to talk about the future of the museum and some of the exciting things that we have coming. So there is an African proverb that I love that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So I am asking you, in the spirit of that proverb, for your help. We have a capital campaign that is taking place right now. And this campaign is to help us gather funds for our next exhibit, which will be the very important Reconstruction exhibit. The Reconstruction exhibit includes concepts such as emancipation. It includes concepts such as the Freedom Colony. So you just witnessed this beautiful Freedom Colony story. Some of the contents of that exhibit will include maps to highlight where the Freedom Colonies are across Washington County and other interactive displays. So what we're asking for your help with is there is a panel over by Ms. Bill right there. We have a donor who is willing to match any contributions made over the next 2 months, so for the months of February and March, so up to $10,000. So we'd like you to really make a concerted effort. There is a QR code there, and I'm going to put in 2 plugs for that. If you'd like to make a large contribution, of course we appreciate that. But I'm going to tell you that when I look at my ancestors and the work that they did, they were able to make something out of nothing. I remember my grandmother putting pennies and dimes and nickels in a handkerchief and meticulously keeping records of those so that those could be shared as mission work. So do not feel that a small contribution is not accepted. So that's why we have QR codes. So if you'd love to write a $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 check, feel free to do so. But if you would just like to give $10 just to say, hey, I want to support you guys, please feel free to scan the QR code and do that as well. Now, if my mother were here, she would say, QR code, huh? So, since she's not, I also have tax-deductible pledge forms on paper, so that if you don't feel comfortable scanning the QR code and making your donation that way, you can use one of these forms and make your donation, and it will still be eligible for the match. Just please indicate match on your form so that we know that that is what you are donating for. And again, this will help us. We raise funds throughout the year. We count on our donors, but this will help us ensure that our Reconstruction exhibit comes to life. Okay? With that, I want to transition into the artist talk. Now, I'm going to sit with Stacy and we're going to talk through some questions, but I would love it if you all have questions that you want to share as well. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. I'll repeat it using the mic so that everyone can hear it. I thought that the performance was amazing. There are elements. There were elements in it that I understood, and there were elements in it that maybe would be great to hear more about them from Stacy. So if you have those kinds of questions, comments, I'd like this to just be a dialogue. So we'll have an artist talk dialogue to learn more about Stacy and to talk through some of your questions perhaps about the performance. And then after that, we will allow them to get on their way and we will stay here and enjoy our refreshments. Okay? All right. There is a microphone for you. Let's see if we can locate that microphone. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So while you were performing, while the group was performing, together just a few of my favorite elements about the show. So I would love to hear though, I'm gonna call out a couple of my favorites, and I'd love to hear from the audience what were some of your favorite elements of the show. So I have three little ones, and I know you have children as well.
I have three as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So one of my favorite elements about the show was allowing the children to participate and the motion of the river that the family was having to cross as they were moving through the story. So that was one of my favorite elements, was incorporating the children into that. Anyone else want to share some of their favorite elements of what they just saw today? I'd love to hear from you all. Perfect. Okay.
One of my favorite elements is when they were searching for one another and when they found them. And I could tell exactly what was happening.
Perfect. So you could see the love when they found one another in the search. I have a gentleman on the front row that has an element that he wants to share. Tell me, please. Yes, yes, all of the dancing. That's your favorite element. I love it. Yes. Go ahead.
One element that I liked was when the children were sitting there shelling the peas, you know, they're not holding themselves.
Yes.
So just shelling the peas was just really
Shelling the peas is a huge portion of Shankleville and part of that legacy and that history that's been incorporated in. So I love the aspect of incorporating that in. Anyone else? Go ahead.
I love the narration.
The narration by the elder. That helped us follow it. Okay, one more. The motion of the river. Yes. Love it, love it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
The music's beautiful.
The music, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The music really, I think, helps convey emotion. I love the music. Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Stacy. Tell us about what elements you thought were the most important to convey through the show. What do you want to share with us as you think are the most important elements?
I think one of the things that I wanted to show in the piece was a freedom colony in both the past and present and future, right? And so we learned about Jim and Winnie Shankleville, but what's more important, not more important, but what's equally important is that family comes back. And so to me, it was that multi-generational passing down of that legacy. And so I think that a lot of us who have roots in different places, like for example, in my family, we're from Pima County, and there's a freedom colony there, 1100. And even though I grew up in Houston, we went every year for a family reunion to Pima County. And so like, not just the element of knowing the past and putting the past in the past, but what can we take from the past to create a better future. And so I intentionally wanted to put that time travel piece to kind of bring out an Afro-futuristic theme so that it's not just like these relics of the past, but like, okay, if my people could build a school with their resources, what can we do now? We can build a school now. Yeah.
So that connection from the past to the present and in the future, what could we do, what's next? So not just the homecoming, but then looking toward the future.
Yes.
Awesome. I know you hold multiple roles. So talk to me about how you make sense of some of the intersections and the connectivity of those roles. Now, I'm asking you the question, but I'm going to tell you, I have a photo on my phone that I snapped that I think starts to answer this question. It is a photo of Stacy overseeing the production, giving cues to her team, holding her son in her arms as he's giving her a kiss. And to me, I snapped that picture and I said, I'm going to ask her about the intersection of some of these multiple roles, but for me, that photo just started to just share that has to be a part of the magic of how you do it all. So please talk to us about how you do it.
So, before I was a choreographer or directed this company, even before I was a mother, I was a dance educator. And so I have been teaching essentially since I graduated college a while ago. I've been teaching dance, and so I would teach dance during the day, and then I would have rehearsals in the evening and perform. And so education is critical to the work that we do. if there isn't a call to action or some type of moment that you can pull from it to move forward, I don't feel like we've done our job. And to that point, one of the biggest compliments that we have received, some of the biggest compliments that we've received while touring this show over the past couple of years is when I've seen someone like and they saw the show and then years later I see them again and they said they look at their family history. Right? So it's like, okay, so if y'all know that about Jim and Winnie, let me see what's happening in my family. And quite frankly, even though I knew that we went to East Texas every summer, I didn't know that was a freedom colony. You kind of sometimes live with these legacies, these heirlooms in our homes, these Bibles with our records, we keep obituaries, we have all these rituals and all these customs that are so rich, but sometimes we take it for granted because it's so normal. So even just understanding that my family owned land, actually on both sides. So in my mom's side is East Texas, with my dad's side, they own land in Mississippi, and we're the only black landowners in that county in Mississippi, and y'all know Mississippi can be rough. So, like, just having that legacy for me as a child, going to Mississippi, going to East Texas, it felt like, oh, everybody has this. Even when my husband's family, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but even when my husband's family would talk about Jim and Winnie Shanklin, they talk about it so normal. Like, everybody just left Mississippi and crossed the Mississippi River and the Sabine River and forged through the forest and met at a spring in Newton County. For them, they almost told this story as normal, but in that was actually a blessing. Like, oh, these stories are normal, and we have to make sure that we unearth them. And so, bringing those roles together was almost serendipitous in a sense because I wanted my children to see, we go to productions all the time, and so I wanted my children to see a story not only with black faces in them, but a story about black people, which is kind of how we came up with the name of FairyTale Project, because there are shows, I mean, we see performances all the time, and so we see, you know, our people represented on stage, but I think that's very different than having the story told on stage. And so my mission as an educator is to kind of unearth these stories, but then also because this is a family story, we are descendants of this legacy, it naturally would lend itself to folding in my family. And then the third part is preservation and advocacy, is to make sure that we don't use these stories to kind of just glorify the past. Y'all give them a hand again. Glorify and the past, but also to think about what can we bring from that to the future, because a lot of us are grappling with a lot of major shifts in policy, and I'm just a believer if they could do it, we could get through this time.
Absolutely, thank you for that. So one of the things that you mentioned was using these performances to help give value and context, right, to some of the history that we all already may know and may have heard. So I love that idea, the concept of adding that. And then I want to say, as an educator, it's clear that you work to ensure that this talented group of performers also is educated about the areas where they are. So you all may not know this, but this morning, Dr. Tina Henderson, bright and early at 8 a.m., took the team thank you very much for all you do. Took the team on a tour because Stacy called me a few weeks ago and said, hey, while we're here, we want to learn about the freedom colonies here in Washington County. So her team spent time touring the panels downtown. They spent time looking at the Camptown Soundwalk and getting to know Washington County's freedom colonies. So just, again, a testament to how much you value that education and ensuring that your team gets to learn more about the areas that they're in. There's also one connection that was uncovered. I'm going to put someone on the spot here. That was uncovered through that conversation. So, do you want to talk about it, or Stacey, do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Tell our own story. So Mia is from this area.
Hello, everybody. I'm a part of the Randall family who's from Brenham, Texas. We have a street, Randall Hill Street, right off the street sign says Churchill Road and Randall Hill Street on 109. And Miss LaToya, who just happens to be my cousin, I didn't know that. She knows my Aunt
team to help with grants so that folks can learn more about their history as well. And Stacy leads movement workshops. She works with Mia's Daughter Collective. So she has just many, many hats that she wears and many accomplishments. But when I speak with her, the thing that strikes me most about her is that this is not just a performance that she is curating, creating. In my mind, I think she views it as more of a calling. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you view what you do and maybe how you were led to begin to do this?
Thank you. What I know is that art is more powerful than entertainment. I mean, entertainment is good. Sometimes you have a long day, it's been rough, you just need to relax, and I'm not at all diminishing that as important. But what I know though is that art has a power to transform people. Every single time we do this show, we learn something more about ourselves. Because even like I said earlier, I didn't even know that where I was from, the Freedom Colony, until I was at the Art Symposium 2 years ago. And my auntie came, so it was in Dallas, and my auntie came to the Art Symposium with me just because I was in Dallas. And she ended up doing her oral history about 1100. And I was like, wait, that's something that it blew my mind that I had been doing this Freedom Colony work at that point for a year and didn't even know that. I was like, yeah, I'm from East Texas too, but I mean, it's not Freedom Colony, you know. But it was, right? And then Mia learned about this. And so all those small seeds that are planted, they grow and they become something different, and that's the things that we can do to change our world. And so that's why I feel it's a calling, and that's why it's really important to me to always bring up my background in education, because I understand the power of community education. Education doesn't always have to happen in four walls. I understand the power of oral history, and a lot of these things happen. I realized. I make sure I put myself in space, but a lot of these things are dreams that I literally dreamed and then brought it into fruition. So before I had any parts of the whole show, I had the river section. And I understood what needed to happen in the river section. And I understood that Jim and that the grandchildren's ancestors was going to help them guide through the Mississippi River, because from reading about Shankleville, he crossed the Mississippi. How? Y'all seen the Mississippi River? How? Now, I was like, okay, that's God, right? And it is God. Praise the Lord. However, I learned, in addition to that, right, God gives us talents and dreams and callings, right? And so what I also learned is that some of the places where Shankleville is not too far from San Augustine, which has been confirmed as a site from the Underground Railroad. And so when I talk about calling, like all these pieces end up coming together. I do want to share this story. I know I'm on a tangent, but I think it's important. So when we did the premiere in June 2022. And so we were on a press run ahead of the tour, right? And so, we got interviewed by several publications, but one particular reporter was so amazing. Her name is Andrea Clay, and she works for the Houston Chronicle. And when she came and watched like a rehearsal or something, she was like, oh yeah, I knew. She knew all the symbolism that's kind of hidden, but she was like, yeah, she was working on a project about the Underground Railroad South. And I was like, And so, okay, it was already the premiere, so I couldn't change nothing. But I went and looked up the maps that night. So we're like 3 days before the show, and I placed the maps of the Underground Railroad South. So like, okay, wait. This is my hypothesis. Jim hypothesis. Okay. So Jim's master sold Winnie to, this is the true part that's not in the play, but Jim's master sold Winnie to his like cousin-in-law, some kind of relative, right? So somebody on that plantation could read Power of Literacy, Power of Black Education, Black People Teaching Black People, right? Somebody on that plantation must have read it, because I don't think he was wandering in the wilderness. He knew to go to Newton County, one. And then we're thinking about crossing the Mississippi River. Well, there was this technology and networks of people moving through Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas to Mexico to find freedom. And so my hypothesis is that he took that route, so he knew exactly where on the Mississippi River to cross. because otherwise it seems, and so now we know 3 days before the premiere, and I'm just like, okay, how am I gonna add that to it? But I had a dream, and I remember when I was in undergrad, I went to a predominantly white institution, but I studied dance. And I remember what I would do is I would watch YouTube videos of black dance companies in Houston. Because I was like, okay, when I graduate, I'm about to dance with them, I'm about to dance with them, trying to figure out, like, trying to find that culture. And that night after that press run, I remember that I had seen a piece on YouTube at least 15 years prior when I was in undergrad of Angelitos Negros, this piece by Lori Lujan. Now, when I went back, of course it was taken down, but I remember seeing that one night being up in my dorm room. And so I contacted her and she was like, yeah, I did hear a piece in the early 2000s, all the stuff. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, that's why we wanted to do that piece in connection to that, because my belief is that Jim knew how to get safely to Texas through that Underground Railroad south, and then just dropped off from San Augustine and got to Shankleville. But that is a hypothesis, so yeah, if it's
that connection and figure out how to use it to bridge those two pieces together. Okay.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yes. And so, like, the question was about calling. And so, yes, it's absolutely a calling, because some of these things, some of these memories are embodied in our hearts and our souls, and we remember them, and, you know, our muscle memory will move us through these things, and then we're able to use that with the archival work and the archival things that are available to us and put it together and create, you know, new.
Wonderful. Yeah. So you mentioned, while you were on that tangent, I was over here like mentally taking notes.
Okay.
You mentioned some of the hidden symbolism that is included. Please help us with some of that we may not have been able to pull out of the piece. Give us some clues on some of that hidden symbolism, or maybe give us some clues that we can see if we found it.
Okay, Mama Wata, anybody familiar with that deity, Mama Wata?
Mama Wata.
Okay, so Mama Wata is a mermaid goddess in African traditional religions, and essentially some believe that that is the deity that, like, the contemporary version of mermaids come from. Is from that, and so we also understand and know that the spiritual energy in rural places through East Texas, and what I like to call the Afro Gulf South. Right, so not just East Texas, but East Texas all the way through Florida, through the Gulf of Mexico, like that whole area where enslaved people live. And the spiritual energy is very diverse, right? So people practice different things that they brought from their homeland. And so even growing up, I would go to East Texas and we would sit bottom the trees, and we understood that symbolism. And in my family, they would talk about dishes being on the graves. So I went to Egypt when I was in graduate school, and you think about how ancient Egyptians buried their dishes with them in their tombs, and so all those spiritual connections become like full circle. So we use Mama Wata as a way to kind of bridge all those connections. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Mama Wata is one of those.
Yes.
Any other hidden symbolism, that you all saw in audience members, or any items or elements that you have questions about based on what you saw?
I could just say that I probably missed a lot of the symbolism because everything was so moving. And between the music and the movement of the dancers and the story, and I can only speak for myself that it sometimes took me places and thinking about my own family history.
Perfect, that's the point.
But then that means I was kind of off on a tangent and may have missed some symbolism.
So also the river scene is an homage to Alvin Ailey's Revelations, Way in the Water. Yeah. Yeah, so that's also there. So then you have that opportunity. We do a lot of school shows, that opportunity to incorporate African American expressive culture, performance history in there. So that's a piece. Also, all the music is original. It was all commissioned. Most of it is by Andre Cunningham, and one piece is by Brandon Willis. And so there's the use of the clave in the river section that dun, 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 that is from Afro-Cuban and Afro-Haitian. Also, even this, that Yambaloo, which kind of connects to the Mama Wata, is a Afro-Haitian folkloric dance. So there's so many diasporic, like Afro-diaspora
Yes, different
moments.
elements that allow us to experience some of those different cultures.
Yes.
So I love that. So you already shared a little bit about AIMI, which is one of my family's favorite
Of course.
dance companies. Who are some of the other dance companies and visionaries that inspire you?
Absolutely, Catherine Dunham. Does anybody know who Catherine Dunham is? I don't know, y'all know. Y'all always hear me say it. So Catherine Dunham is a dancer and an anthropologist, cultural worker, really ahead of her time. Her company was touring in the 1920s, and actually, okay, a little bit of Freedom Colony information. So Alvin Ailey is from East Texas.
Yes.
Y'all know that, right?
Yes.
Okay? He's from a Freedom Colony. He grew up in Rogers. I know he was born in Rogers, but grew up in the Navasota area. So he has that Freedom Colony roots, and he talks about blood memories. That's what Ailey. So the whole Revelations piece that we see often, another tangent, but I want to say it, is based off of this cultural, spiritual synergy that we have right here in this space. But much like many people from Texas migrated to California, and so his family moved to California, and the dance company that he saw that inspired him to dance was the Dunham Company on tour to Los Angeles. Yes, and so Catherine Dunham was an anthropologist. She studied under Melville Herkowitz at the University of Chicago, and she calls her beloved island Haiti. And so she studied in Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, Martinique, and she brought those cultural dances, and she blended it with ballet, because we're talking about touring in the 1920s and 30s. So they didn't have dance classes that were integrated, right? Dance classes also, right, so art is always political. We sometimes try to make it like not political, but when you really think about the fact that she couldn't even study in a space that was integrated, right? But as many of us do, like you said, we make something out of nothing, make lemonade out of lemons. She ended up with private lessons, because her teacher could teach her with the rest of the other children. So she ended up with private lessons, so her talent skyrocketed quicker. And so she used that with her skills as a cultural anthropologist and created several pieces that kind of span genre. She did film, they did concert dance, all of it. It kind of brought, in a time when minstrel shows were prevalent, she brought so much grace and style and vigor to cultural dance, because it wasn't like ballet, no shades of ballet. We all trained in that form, but it was bringing our stories to a stage. If you can imagine it 100 years ago, with that
How powerful that was.
Yeah.
She was ahead of her time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have two last questions. I'm trying to be cognizant of time. I know that you guys have another.
It's okay, it's not like
So I want to ask the audience to do one thing. If you loved today's performance, and I know when we have these type of events, sometimes folks don't know what to expect, right? I'm sure that you were all getting ready, and your friends and family members were wondering, where are you going to? What is it going to be? What's going to happen there? I want you to go back and please talk to your friends and family members. Tell them about May's Daughters Collective and explain to them what you saw today, especially if you loved it. I would love, it took us 2 years to get you here to do this performance.
Thank you for your commitment.
To share more from an education perspective, okay? Dance education and doing some type of an event with the schools. So, Dr. Henderson is telling us, or I would say Glenn, okay? And so we have beautiful performing arts venues like the center at Glenn. And so we would love to work with some of the partners in the community to figure out how we can make that happen and begin planning and working on that. So I'm already looking at Dr. Henderson and Cheryl and a few other people that I'm going to lean on to try to help us bring that to. So my question for you though, what goes into putting together and creating a piece like this. So we see the end result. We see the cake when it's baked and sitting on the, sitting on the plate. Help us understand some of the elements that you had to pull together as you created, curated. You mentioned all the music is original. Help us with understanding some of
Art making is hard work. I know we're in a climate where people are having to make difficult decisions with budgets. I gotta say this, right? Don't cut those things, right? Because what you get out of creating art is critical thinking skills. You learn about yourself, you learn about your history, and you learn how to be problem solvers. We have encountered a lot of everything. I almost want to pass the mic, so I don't just keep going on the soapbox. But we premiered in 2022, but we started working on this piece probably in 2020. So the thing that comes to my first is don't get weary and well done, because sometimes it takes a long time to bring something to vision. Because right now it's 2025. So I started working on this piece before he was even born. He was in 20, yeah. So we started working on the piece. Then I got pregnant, so I was like, you're not doing nothing. Then COVID came. Then we started somebody else from Emerson. It took a lot to get here. So, Courtney, y'all think of
I'm not that good with dates, but we have been working on this for a while. I've had 2 babies while working on this project. It has definitely been a while. Some of the things that we have to get together are schedules, because all of us have lives, all of us have jobs outside of dance. We do this because we enjoy it, we do it because we love this right here, having this moment, being able to have you guys think of things, go home and give you something to talk about. Scheduling is one of the hard things. Rehearsals, lots of rehearsals, getting the costumes together, finding the set designer, all of the things like that, they don't just happen. We have to put them together, and Stacey did a wonderful job.
And we also have to do a lot of independent fundraising, right? So a lot of late nights, writing grants, funding piece by piece. That's a part that we've had to do. And then a lot of modifications, like just this, each setting is different. And I think that this is probably the most adult setting that we've done. And it was really interesting to kind of see that adults responded so positively to it, because we've done a lot of family engagement. So where people are mostly coming with their little ones, and then we do a lot of school performances of this piece. So also being mindful of the audience. I know that there are some schools of thought where people make art for themselves, but we really believe in community. So we make sure that we are being mindful of where we are and being in space. We make modifications every single time. That's why it's always important for us to do the tours, because it may be something that we learned on the Freedom Colony tour here. We may add different names to those freedom projects, like able to make adjustments like that. So it really is a living, breathing body of work that we're continually growing and adding to.
We could definitely see that in what you deliver, and we appreciate all of your flexibility to be able to make this work in this venue, which didn't have a stage. We were able to make it work and use the set, so we really appreciate being able to do that. So we know that African American artists have enriched the cultural landscape through dance, through music. So we will have an exhibit debuting next week. It will be in our Bluebell Gallery, where we will showcase and spotlight some of our contributions from Washington County, Freedom Colony descendants in the areas of the arts. And it will cover everything from music to culinary arts to performing arts. So stay tuned. That will be debuting next Saturday. So please come back and make sure that you get a chance to look at that exhibit, and it will be up throughout March. Okay, so we will have a chance to share that.
I have a question for her. Do you go and perform at the performing arts schools, in public schools?
Yes, but we also perform in Title I schools, because we are committed. So yes to that, but I also want to say it doesn't have to only be a performing arts school. We perform in Title I schools, we perform in all schools, because we want to make sure that no matter what the circumstances, they're able to get this art. I would say our best show, we love y'all too, our best show so far has actually been in private ISD.
in Crockett. Yes, and that is including us performing at South by Southwest and colleges, universities, and all the things, because those children were so responsive. Like, they was yelling out, "Wee! Wee!" Like, they were so, like, tapped into the show. So, yeah, we perform at art schools, but we also perform at Title I schools, community schools, private schools, charter schools, wherever there are people who want to learn about freedom colonies, that's when we perform.
Okay, my last question, we're excited to have your talented performers on stage. Tell us more about how you're fun and how you put together this talented.
So, really before Needless Artists Movement Collective became Needless Artists Movement Collective, we created a piece called Dear Little Black Girl, and I essentially just invited people that I knew in the dance community to perform. And then we started doing more like public art pieces, and so we've done auditions, but I think at this point, most of these people are through referral. So, yeah, because even if y'all came to an audition, somebody told y'all, so y'all can see it really. I want to specifically talk about Jalen and Mia. Can y'all stand up? These are our two youngest dancers. Y'all give them a hand. Jalen is only 15. And so we have a community partnership with a dance studio in the Houston area of Herm Clark. And they it's called Rising Stars Academy of Dance, and that's where we rehearse at. And so these two young ladies have went through that academy program and then naturally fed into the Artists Movement Collective. So that's one of the things, is creating a pipeline for a professional company from up-and-coming dance students. We do shows at colleges. That helps. Like if we did a show at a college, then they move back to Houston after they graduate, they'll come in audition. That's kind of what we do.
Okay, so I said that was my last question, so I will not continue with the full list that I have here. But I would like to again.
You want to open up maybe
yes.
1 or 2 questions?
Okay, if you've not y'all heard her say that. So, audience, are there any questions that you all have? Yes.
Yeah, didn't you mention there's another performance later this evening?
Yes.
When and where is that?
It's at Texas A&M in College Station.
Okay.
So that's where we're headed to protect. I'm gonna text them and say we're gonna be late. It's alright. So it's at Peak. Somebody help me with the details. It's at 6. So it's at the Physical Education and Performance Building at Texas A&M. So that's not too far from y'all. You guys can come in. There's also more additional pieces that we'll be performing in one this year.
And if we follow you on Instagram, as you invited us all to
Instagram and Facebook, and the most important thing you can do, you do one thing, is go on our website and add yourself to the email list.
that will help us know where to find you and how to enjoy the performances. Great question.
I'm just going to make a comment. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
It was such a great performance, and I'm so glad this is my niece that works with you. Hey! My younger niece. Yeah. So it's just been marvelous having y'all here.
Thank you for bringing that. Jennifer, come up here. She would like to stay in the background. So,
rehearsal director.
Yes. Needless Artists Movement Collective is definitely a community effort, and Jennifer really is who put these pieces together. She makes sure that the rehearsals are together. She handles the communication. She does the tech. She helps with all the things, because this can't be done by one person. It really does take a community effort. So thank you, Jennifer. And she has family in the Brenham area. So we had 2 dancers who had family in this area. How amazing.
I just want to ask if you guys, if everyone can introduce themselves.
Yes.
We'll start with Nicole.
Hi, I'm Sister Melissa. I'm an educator, and I am from Houston, Texas. I have a theater group called Three Sisters in the Spirit. And just quickly, I was doing a play, and my dancers backed out to literally the last minute, and we were performing at the women's something. And I said, "Can you come dance with me? Dance, bring me dancing," and she did. So it is such an honor to work with Stacey. She's a wonderful woman.
I'm also from Houston, Texas. I have been dancing in Houston for most of my life, and then I majored in dance at Brenham University in Gainesville, Georgia, about an hour north of Atlanta. And then overall, I've been dancing for 16 years, I think. So yes, like dance like this is very also, I believe, very important because it can tell stories that not a lot of people know, or it's suppressed to a point where they can't know. So yes, I'm very grateful to be able to be a part of this.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mia Paul. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. I'm currently at Texas Southern University studying biology, and I'm a part of Motion of the Ocean, which is the Ocean of Soul dance team there, and I've been with Miss Stacy for like since 2019. So yeah, I've been here for a little minute.
Hi, my name is Jalen, and this is actually my first show, so I'm kind of excited. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. My parents are from the Caribbean, and I go to a college, so that associate degree is coming in. I would like to go to Fairview and I'm 15, like she said.
Hello, I am Jennifer Colvin, or I might say Colvin here in Brenham. But I am from Houston, Texas. I am a dance educator at a fine arts magnet school, and I'm the rehearsal director for the ESL.
Hello everyone, my name is Carissa Lockhart. I'm not from Texas. I'm from New York and New Jersey. I went to Montclair State University for dance. Dance is my life. I love to dance. And when I came to Houston, I was looking for a dance company that was cultured and danced about Black history, and I also worked for the Pioneers' Daughters. And I'm one of the newer members here, but I love it here.
Hello everyone, my name is Toba Atkins Montana. I'm a Houston-based dancer and choreographer. I've been with Mia's Daughters since 2021, and yeah, I also dance with other companies in Houston, but I love working with Mia's Daughters because it's a very enriching culture to be a part of, and it's very amazing to see the views on people and other people's backgrounds and everything as we tell their stories.
Hello everyone, my name is Courtney Sherman Allen. I am from Houston. I have been dancing for sure since 2009. I'm one of the original members of Mia's Daughters. Been rocking with her from day one. So what I will say about Mia's Daughters is, as long as I've been performing with her, every time I perform with her, I learn something new. Every single time. And it's just, I've never been a part of a company where I'm learning not just how to move my body, but I'm learning about my history, and I'm getting connected, I'm getting to my roots. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexia Jones. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas. I started dancing at the age of 5, and I've been dancing ever since. I have my bachelor's degree in fine arts from AMDA in Los Angeles. I graduated in 2023. Came back to Houston, and this is my older sister, so I was seeing her dance late last year, and it's been great ever since.
If there are any other questions from the audience, I'll take those. Otherwise, okay. Any parting words that you want to leave us with regarding to the work, or any takeaways that you want the audience to have?
Just thank you all so much. Please be connected to us. You can follow us on our journey. We really